Today, we are reaching out to you with a special edition of In Conversations with a very unique person. Her journey is not just about titles and accolades. Her journey has touched so many hearts, and her legacy speaks louder than words. She is a social reformer, a visionary leader, a counselor, and above all of that, she is a woman of substance who continues to lead with passion and empathy. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. AmeenaMustapha. How are you feeling today?
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, Miss Cindy, for the kind introduction and generous words. I am truly honored to be here today, but I do not know if I really deserve all the praise. But I am deeply grateful for the recognition.
It's actually my honor to have this conversation with you today. So, when I researched about you, I've come to realize that your life is like a beautiful tapestry, full of courageous moments, challenging situations, leadership, and deep compassion. But before all of that, there was a little girl who once wanted to be a caregiver at a very young age. Let's actually start there. How do you reflect on those years, and how do you think those challenges and those years shaped the woman you've become today?
Looking back at my early years, I can see how they shaped the person I am today. I come from a family of 5 children, 3 girls and 2 boys. My mother sadly passed away when she was just 32 years, and I was only 7. My younger sister was just a baby, around 1.5. That moment changed everything. As the eldest girl, I suddenly felt responsible for my siblings and took that role very, very seriously.
I'm sure it would have been a challenging situation for your father as well.
Yes, it was. We had a wonderful father, so kind and caring, who played the role of mum and dad so well. Shortly, my father thought it best to hire a governess, Mrs. Joseph, to look after his young family. She was kind, but ran the house in a strict manner, almost in a military style way, with fixed routines from morning till night. We had to get up, piano practice, homework, going to school, coming back, siesta, homework again, playtime, and back to bed at 7:30. My cousins found it hilarious and used to laugh at us and say we were like the kids from The Sound of Music. We complained to our father, but he didn't want to upset Mrs. Joseph. So the routine continued. I remember, I think I was just 8 years old. I picked up some courage and went up to her and told her, Mrs. Joseph, do you know that I am really the lady of this house? She was quite flabbergasted, amused, but the routine continued. After some time, I think when I was 9 years old, I asked my father if he could go to boarding school. He thought it was not a bad idea. So I was boarded at Ladies' College, and my 2 brothers were boarded at St. Thomas's College in Bandaraville. The 2 little sisters remained at home in her care. These early responsibilities at home and later the discipline and shared life at the hostel really shaped my life. They taught me leadership, independence, and how to care for others. I think those experiences gave me a strong foundation to grow into the woman I am today.
It's incredible how all of these challenges shape the woman you become. But if I were to ask you, what has been your lifelong ambition? How would you answer that?
I always wanted to become a doctor, but I got married at the age of 18.
So when your path shifted from medicine to marriage and family, how did you come to terms with that change, and how did you find fulfillment beyond it?
I actually had the entry requirements for medical school, and my father's plans were to send me to Pakistan to women's only university. But life had other plans. One day, quite unexpectedly, my father called me and asked if I could consider getting married to a young and budding lawyer called Mustapha. I knew my father would never do anything but his best for me. So I agreed, and I must say, I have no regrets. We are blessed with two children, Faiza, my daughter, and Faiza, the son. They followed their father's and grandfather's footsteps and became lawyers. My father-in-law, the late S.M. Mustapha, was known as the Lion of the Dumbaraba.
So, aren't your children president councils as well?
Yes, they are. Both my children and my husband. It's a very, very unique situation where all three presidents' council are in active practice at Alstom.
That's awesome. We all know that your son Mustapha is a prominent political figure in Sri Lanka. As a mother, how did you feel about his decision to pursue a career in Sri Lankan politics?
Yes, he is. And we were not very keen that he pursues a career in politics. But the only consolation was that a member of parliament is permitted to practice law.
I've heard that most of your granddaughters are lawyers as well. Is it true?
That's right. I have 4 grandchildren, Zulaiha, Zainab, Ameena and Aisha. 3 of them are lawyers and 1 is studying medicine overseas. Today, I'm a great grandmother and I have 4 great grandchildren. They are Yusuf, Alina, Imad and Aleha. We are a very close family and my daughter lives next door and they are most of the time in my house. And we are so close, the generation gap doesn't matter. All these lawyers sometimes call me the judge at home because I always seem to have the final say. So they say. I honestly feel proud. I fulfilled my father's wishes in my own way. I wouldn't trade this life for anything.
From nurturing a family to nurturing a nation, you've empowered thousands of women through your service and vocational training. In your view, what do you believe is the secret to not just empower women, but to sustain that empower across generations?
I believe the key to empowering women and making the empowerment last is giving them practical skills and then that to lead to financial independence. I was a housewife. I wasn't fulfilled. I longed to do something more. So at first, I decided to do a business with my sister, Farrier. It was a thriving business from the very start. I realized that financial gain was not my priority. My true calling was for social service, especially for women. Because I knew if a woman becomes self-supportive, she will gain self-confidence, self-esteem, and get the respect of earn the respect of their husbands and families. I knew this is the only way to reduce the poverty level among women. Hence, I joined the Muslim Ladies Study Circle, which is a very active social service organization. I founded the Vocational Training Center as chairperson of the center, we trained over 10,000 women across the island and all communities. At this center, we trained them in several skills. These courses were accredited to the Vocational Education Commission, and this helped them to get jobs both in Sri Lanka as well as abroad. They also open their own establishments, catering, tailoring, baking, opening beauty salons, and even open their own nursery schools as well. I believe that when you empower a woman, you empower a generation. That keeps me committed to this work.
You're not just known as a leader, but as someone who actively listens and who understands. And this basically drew you into the field of counseling. As someone who has deeply involved in family counseling, what are the most common issues you see in modern families, and how can we support emotional well-being in today's society?
As a family counselor with 40 years experience, I find that people who needed counseling do not necessarily turn to counseling. This is because we have not completely broken the stigma. People believe that when you go to a counselor, it's because they are having something wrong with them. Changing this mindset is a real challenge. I received my diploma from the Family Studies and Services Institute over 40 years ago, which is a pioneer organization for preparation for marriage. I lectured there for several years till I had to leave to London to join my husband, who was appointed High Commissioner in the UK.
Could you tell me who you trained?
Actually, I trained pastors and nuns. This is because it was mandatory for Catholics to follow the preparation for marriage program if they are to get married. I too advocated this course to be followed, but I was not very successful. When I returned to Sri Lanka from London, I followed my passion and dream and founded the Safa Counseling Center. This is a project of the Muslim Women's Conference, where I currently serve as president. At our center, we have a team of well-trained counselors who help individuals and families to cope up and overcome emotional changes and grow in their personal and family life. We also conduct workshops in parenting, marriage, alcohol and drug addiction, and even managing stress. Due to the high rate of divorces, we focused on preparation of marriage programs and used topics such as communication, understanding individual differences, conflict management, and managing in-laws and finances and intimacy. This helps them to have a better relationship for their marriage.
Yeah, that's true. Like we've seen for generations how people are only focused on their wedding function and not about their life afterwards.
Yes, this is what we realize, that couples are only focused on the wedding ceremony, the wedding hall, the dress, the decorations,
It's so true.
the invitation, and it is not considered even important by the parents to prepare the children for marriage. We know that whatever we do, we have to prepare. Preparation is necessary for exams, sports meet, interviews, or whatever we do. It's a vital thing to be prepared. So such an important thing as marriage, it's not considered important.
That's true. So were these programs only based in Colombo?
No, we had programs in Colombo, Katowice, Putlam, and for the graduates at the Peradeniya campus, Galle, and so many areas.
If I were to ask you, what was the award you received recently for the remarkable contributions you made over the course of 4 decades?
At a recent event, the launch of Abimanya, an association, I was humbled that when they presented me with the Upaharaya award for my contribution in family council for 4 decades. The Abimanya, their goal was to make marriage preparation mandatory for all communities, which I too have been advocating for a few decades. We are also now trying to introduce preparation for marriage programs in mosques shortly. I believe that preparing couples for marriage will help reduce the divorce rates and create a healthier and happier married life.
Aren't you also involved in working with mental ill patients?
Yes, I was the president of Shanti Alaya and now I am the patron. It is a home for mentally ill at Vattala. It is open to all communities and this facility has been operational for the last 30 years. It's a non-profit organization registered with the Ministry of Social Services and also the Ministry of Health Affairs, and it continues to provide the needed support for individuals suffering from mental health issues.
What are the other social organizations you are actively involved in, apart from the ones you've mentioned previously?
I am currently involved with the children at the Islamia Home for Needy and Orphan Children at Ratbana, where I serve as the Vice President of this institution. It's truly fulfilling to be part of an organization that provides care and support to children in need. I was also involved in putting up 32 houses in Berwala for 150 refugees who were displaced from Jaffna overnight during the ethnic war. These refugees were housed in a hall at a sports center at Peterson Lane. Their living condition was appalling. One day, about 75 of them turned up at my doorstep and told me they have a deadline of 6 months to leave the premises. They pleaded with me to find them an alternative place to house them. I wasn't in a position to give them that assurance. However, I told them I will do my best to find alternative accommodation. Once they left, I went all over. I was not relaxed till I managed to purchase some land in Berwala and construct 32 houses for these refugees. It was so fulfilling and thrilling to settle them all in their new houses in Berwala. I also helped to give 160 very deserving war widows 8 purchases of land to construct their own houses.
How was it feasible to secure funding for these substantially big projects?
I discovered that I had a knack of inspiring confidence and also, with a little bit of charm, to convince my donors to give generous donations for worthy projects. Then also there was this family strategy where I asked my husband's affluent clients to give me donations. My husband was supportive, but when it came to sending his memos for his professional services, they sometimes gave me the donation and waived off his fees. It was a cost plus loss operation for him, but he was my biggest cheerleader and we worked as a team.
Were you also appointed to the National Committee on Women by the former President Chandrika Bandaranaike?
Yes, I had the opportunity there to work with women facing variety of issues across the island.
How do you feel about the presidential award, Sikhamani, you received to recognize the efforts of social service?
I was also deeply humbled to receive the presidential award, Sikhamani, in recognition for my ongoing efforts to support and uplift women and marginalized communities.
We know that you've lived through civil conflict, displacement, and evolution of Sri Lanka's social fabric. What have been the biggest cultural and social shifts you witnessed over the years?
Each community must show empathy for the other. We Sri Lankans are the heirs to the 4 great religions of the world. As Sri Lankans, We must draw the tolerance of Buddhism, the humanism of Hinduism, the compassion of Christianity, and the brotherhood of Islam. These values must unite us as Sri Lankans. We must be a sharing, caring nation.
Since you've lived through all of these eras, politically, socially, and personally, and through it all, you remained grounded in faith and purpose. What has anchored you through life's biggest transitions, and what do you hope your legacy will inspire in future generations?
What has helped me through life's biggest challenges is the influence of my father. He shaped my values and helped me stay grounded. I always make sure that everything I do is within the teachings of my religion. That gives me peace and direction. I am a people's friendly person. I try to be a good listener and try to understand others' feelings, and that's why I think people trust me and confide in me. It's a gift I value deeply. If there's one thing I hope to leave behind, it's the importance of being kind, selfless, and helpful to others. I want to inspire future generations to be caring and sharing. I believe that truly connecting with others and making a difference in their lives is the best legacy anyone can leave.
Such a great statement. Mrs. Mustapha, your story is one of service, strength, and steadfast belief in people. Thank you for sharing your journey with us and for continuing to light the way for so many. And with that, we're wrapping up till next time. Stay connected and stay inspired.